what Richard does is he gets right to issues that are going on with your generation. Y'all to really pay attention to what he's going to tell you.
But what I want to see is effort. This is not about winning, guys. This is about effort. You know, this is about effort. That's what it's really about. It's not, we got a generation, everybody thinks it's about getting your hand raised, getting to the top of the podium. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be competitive. I'm as competitive as anybody. But at the end of the day, how much effort did you put in? How much did you grow? How much better did you get? That's what's important, is progress along the way. You know, everybody's going to get their win sooner or later, and your time will come. You know, wrestling brings so much value to your life, so much bigger than the win on the mat. You know, and what it's going to do for you, what you're doing now, and how it's going to help you overcome life's adversities, becoming a young adult and navigating your way through the world. Wrestling's going to give you an advantage over a whole bunch of other people out there because you've been through the struggle. You know how to work hard. You know how to focus. You know how to set goals. You know how to overcome adversity. You know how to pick yourself up off the ground when it gets hard, when it gets tough. Bear down. These are attributes that wrestling is going to help teach you. And you guys are in the midst of that. Huge value for life ahead, guys. And the reason I know this is because I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've made some of the worst mistakes. I've destroyed my life for years. And trying to make a comeback in life, I knew that wrestling was going to help provide me a level of success and get me into a better place. If wrestling wasn't going to provide the value I needed, I wouldn't have made the comeback in wrestling. I knew how huge it was. It wasn't about winning, it was about winning my life back. We're talking a guy that went through 20 years of addiction, guys. 7 years locked up behind bars. Homeless, living on the streets, okay? So I'm making a serious comeback, okay? And wrestling, I knew, was going to help me figure out who I was, help me get to a better place in my life, and hopefully help me find a higher level of success. I didn't know I'd be exactly where I'm at today, but I knew that it was going to help give me value and give me direction. But the one thing wrestling really did is it was inclusive. It took me in with open arms. It didn't matter what I did. Wrestling didn't judge me. Wrestling didn't X me out. They accepted me in with open arms. And the reason that I was able to go on and compete for 10 years after the comeback and find some level of success is because of the support system that wrestling was in my life. I couldn't do it alone. I needed a support system. I needed somebody to pick me up when I was taking that full year of losses and say, hey, let's keep fighting. I needed somebody to be at Matt's side when I came off the mat with my head hung low. I needed somebody cheering me on in the corner. I needed to know that somebody had my back. Really important that we make good decisions off the mat, not just in the wrestling room, not just on the mat, but outside the wrestling room. That person that's chasing their dream and doing the right things to get there, so that you don't have to look back on your career and go, man, if I could have just did it a little different, I might have had a higher level, I might have had some more wins. A lot of guys look back on their life wishing they'd have done it different, guys. That wrestling window is this long. This long, that's it. And wrestling's preparing you for this big window out here. So you want to do everything you can to reach those goals that you might have, those personal goals during this window, because it's short and it's done and it's not very long, guys. Never have to go down the road I went down, guys. I mean, drugs and alcohol and vaping and all that kind of stuff, it's a no-win situation, guys. All it's going to take, this is my line to my goal. This is my line where I want to be in my life tomorrow, next year, 10 years. Anytime you do that kind of stuff, it takes you off that line of success. It takes you further and further away from your goals. So you've got to evaluate the decisions that you're making. Is what I'm doing today helping me get closer to reach my goal, or is it taking me further away? So that's what I do every single day. I evaluate the decisions I'm making and try to do the right thing every day. And what's happened through that process is I've not only come from homeless to become a national champion, I've got 16 years clean and sober, and I've got an awesome family, man. great relationships with people, you know, and I get the opportunity to go share my story all around the country. But unfortunately, I had to go through this real struggle and make a huge comeback to bring value back here. I want to be involved in a culture that helps push each other to the next level and does the right thing.
1, 2, 3.
Oregon! I almost want to do this.